consider yourself lucky.
It's Anthony Allen Ramos from GLAAD Hunter. So nice to see you. Let's talk about Gretchen. She is complex, she's strong, she's badass. What was it about her, though, specifically, that you really connected with and that you wanted to be a part of telling this wild, crazy story that I love so much?
I mean, I think before even Gretchen, I fell in love with the world of Cuckoo and Tilman's world building and the way he directs and everything. I've been saying this, but like I would have played any character in this movie. I just wanted to be a part of it. But I'm really thankful I got to, inhabit Gretchen because she's really kind of in the eye of the storm with the whole movie, and I got to be there pretty much every day on set. And really live in that world, which is exactly what I wanted.
And you look gorgeous today, always, face of Prada, Mugler, always glam, but this role definitely not so glamorous. Did you like kind of getting a break from that? What was that process like for you?
I present a very clean and nice facade to the world most of the time. On my day-to-day, I prefer no makeup, very cash. And this definitely, it was nice because it was less time in the makeup chair and everything, But I also find, like, in a fucked up way, like some glamour in, like, I said this a couple times today too, but like when I was a kid and I got a nosebleed, like I'd always want to take a picture with the nosebleed. Like there's something very glamorous about being covered in blood and wielding a knife and running around. It's great. It's its own kind of glamour,
For sure. And listen, this role, there's a definite physicality to it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about you, in prep mode in the middle of Blade Runner, which I would imagine also is quite physical. How did you kind of get into that world? Because, you are like, you mentioned blood, you're getting a little beat up here and there quite a bit.
Yeah.
How did you handle all that?
Yeah, it was my first time really doing action sequences, and I knew I was gonna like it, but I loved it. I had so much fun, and I find action to be a really nice break from the sort of like I can get really heady and in my head and kind of stuck in these cycles for some acting work, and I love action because it's so physical and you just get to be in your body and be present and react in real time and stuff, and so I kind of fell in love with that for the first time on the set of Cuckoo. It was so much fun.
I'm sure we'll see more in the future for you, so I'm glad that you enjoyed that. That's awesome. With this genre, horror, this kind of crazy, intense suspense horror, I think LGBTQ people love it so much that we're not always at the center of it, though. So I love that Gretchen, just happens to be a queer woman. We not to spoil too much, we get a little bit of a peek into her world. But what was it like for you to kind of get to play that? Because like I said, it's like we love it so much, and then usually we're always like the side person, but Gretchen is the main lead, which we love.
Yeah, I mean it's cool because it's just like that's what was in the script. That's what was in the story. I found it really, really exciting to, I don't know, like, I guess to think about like audiences, queer audiences and audiences that don't engage with queer people that much, like to spend that much time for the length of an entire movie with a character that just happens to be queer,
No, she's so interesting. Have you ever, like, I know it's like, do you ever think about like I don't want to spoil the ending, but you thought about like what happens at the end? What's Gretchen's next move? Like what happens next? Because I was definitely like, what's going on next?
Yeah. I mean, you could dream a few different, routes of what's happening. It's one of my favorite things to come up with imaginary sequels to movies. You could dream just about anything up because I think a lot goes in this world.
I feel like you're such a talented actor, television, we're talking about doing action films now and killing it in fashion. So impressed by it. What's the next dream that you would love to take on?
I mean, obviously, I'm very much riding the acting wave right now, and kind of really taking advantage of this position I'm in where I'm having these opportunities, handed to me, and I want to take them, and I'm learning so much from it and having fun. I think as soon as I stop like having fun and learning from it, then I'll know that it's time to think about something else. But I also love that being an actor is teaching me so much about filmmaking, because I think that is probably the next area that I kind of want to infiltrate on a deeper level. I've done some production in some small projects that I've directed and whatever, but to, I think start brainstorming and creating bigger scale projects that I'm behind the camera on.
I would love to see that. Let's hope for that next. I think, with, you're so young, and you handle social media well. I'm glad we're always trying to, give LGBTQ kids out there some advice on how to navigate it all, because it's tricky, but
Yeah.
what advice do you have out there for, any LGBTQ kids out there that might be trying to navigate the crazy waters of social media?
Social media is so tricky because social media was integral to me, like, having a vocabulary for queerness. I didn't even know what a trans person was until I found it on the internet and was like, oh my God, that's what I am. And at the same time, the way I feel about social media is if you don't have to engage with it, maybe don't, there's some really beautiful parts of it, and then some, I think, really destructive parts of it too. Think critically about your usage of social media. I don't know. It's tricky. I do not envy kids who are growing up in this social media landscape right now.
Yeah, healthy boundaries, I think, is good, like what you were saying on that. You as talented of an actor you're also someone that loves to use their voice for good and to speak about things that are important to you. As we enter into a very important part of American history, how important is it that our community and people in general just make their voices heard and show up and, take a stand for what's important?
It's important as it's ever been. I feel like particularly for queer and trans people over the past decade or two, we've seen some big strides, especially as far as representation, and then seeing how that can change social landscapes and everything. I think just staying engaged and participating however you see fit. I mean, it comes down to, everyone's own choice of how they want to participate in this insane system that we all have to be a part of. I encourage thinking for yourself and not necessarily just submitting to social pressures, but really thinking about how you feel about things and acting from there.
Well, thank you, Hunter, for the time. The film Cuckoo is a wild one. I'm so excited for all of the good things coming your way. I really appreciate the time.